So today we are having two topics. So first one is creating depth in a frame. Second one is perspective. We'll start with the first one, creating depth in a frame. So what does it mean? This is the mistake we have done. Last class I posted like assignment 14 and 15, but that was wrong. We have to read it like assignment 13 and 14. So this is a small correction that I request everyone to make. So let us start with today's subject, creating depth in a frame. So normally we are familiar with this type of photo. What is this? This is the subject. This is the background. So we are familiar with this type of photo. This type of photo also same, like the previous one was the subject and the background. This time also, like we are having something called, this is the subject.
Sir, your screen got black and even you are not properly visible nor audible.
There is a power cut, so because of that my internet got stopped, and so now I am working with my mobile internet and my laptop is having charge enough for this class. So I will just be sharing my screen again. So this type of photo we are familiar, like where we are having a subject, or this type of photo, this subject is also called as foreground. See the sky that we are seeing here, it is the background, whereas this flower and these leaves are called as foreground. So we are normally familiar with this type of photo, where we have a subject and we have a background. But the problem is that the real world that we are living, that is not of this type. What does it mean? Because we live in a 3D world, and that way we see it, we also see the 3D portion of the world. But whereas the photo that we take or the photo that we print on a paper, it is a 2D medium. So this type of photo does not give us a true 3D feeling. But whereas this type of photo, if we observe, it is having three different sections, I can say. These flowers are there here. This is one portion. Second thing, this water or these things are there. This is second portion. Whereas the sky is there, this is the third portion. So when we are getting this type of photo, this particular section is called as foreground, right? These things which are in the middle, these are called midground, whereas this particular portion is called as background. So this is a clear-cut difference between this photo and this previous photo. This photo, it is having only two things: subject, which we can also call as foreground, whereas this we can call as background. Whereas this type of photo, it is having three things. This portion we can call as foreground, this portion we can call as midground, and the sky we can call as background, right? So this is what we call as adding depth to an image. What is the meaning of adding depth to an image? We want to represent that the photo that we have taken, it belongs to a 3D world. We will understand in some more depth, like this. For this particular photo, this green field is there, it is called as foreground, whereas this house is there, it is middle ground, and the sky is there, it is background. So when we are adding in a particular photo intentionally some foreground, then midground, and then background, we are creating a depth in the photo. We are creating the 3D depth. We are giving the viewer the experience that this photo is taken from 3D world. So whenever we are seeing the photo also, we are getting the 3D feeling within ourselves. Whereas this type of photo, it does not offer that sense. It is only foreground and it is only background. Where this particular photo, it is having foreground, midground, and background. So when these three different things are added to the photo, the experience that we get becomes more attractive to us. So this particular photo also, these stones are there, it is forming the foreground, this water thing forming the midground, and this particular sky or this hill which is far away from these things are called as background. So now onwards, whenever you are composing a photo, just discard your usual habit of taking a photo with foreground and background. What you do, intentionally you add some foreground to it, so that we are having total three things: foreground, midground, as well as background. Some more example we will see. See this photo, if I take this photo like this, so then there is only foreground and there is only background, right? But when I am taking the photo like this, what is happening? The green field is becoming foreground, now this is becoming midground, whereas the sky is becoming as background. So this is the way, if we configure or if we compose a photo, it gives us more depth to the image, or it adds more depth to the frame, which is the objective of the first class that we are discussing today, right? See, this particular landscape also, someone could have taken this photo like this. So this hill foreground, sky background, over. But no, the photographer who has taken this, he has intentionally added these trees in the foreground. It looks nice, right? So same thing you also do. Whatever photos you are composing, give some sincere effort or some conscious effort that you ensure that there is some foreground also, and midground and background. Some more photos we see, repetitive. See this particular photo, if we compose it like this, then foreground, background, but no, we are not going to compose it like this. We are going to add some foreground to this. So this stone, foreground, this is the subject or midground, this sky and the hill in the, which is far away from this, is forming the background. So like that way you can compose your photo. What some examples, some more example we will see in terms of landscape photography. Sky background, this is midground, this is also foreground. See, if in this photo, if the stone is not there, na, so this photo is looks a bit flat. But whereas once the stones are added, see, if you just observe this photo, or for the first time that you are watching this photo, your attention comes here first, like this. So you are controlling the way your viewer is watching your photo. So this is also the objective of adding three different depth to the frame. Some more thing, see these things are intentionally added, foreground. Again, this particular photo, these things are added intentionally to form the foreground. This is the midground, this is the background. So it is not only in case of landscape photography you can do. There are other forms of photography where you can apply this, the theory of foreground, midground, and background. See, this bird is there, it is the midground. This water, it is coming first, or even some of the leaves are coming in between the bird and our view. So those things are forming the foreground, whereas this particular thing, it is forming the background. So in different branch of photography, you can use this theory. Bird is there, midground, these leaves are there, which is in front of the bird. They are forming the foreground. This particular thing, it is composing the background. Isn't it looking nice? Rather than composing the photo like this, means the subject foreground, background. So we just try to put some effort depending upon our choice. Every photo that we are going to compose from now will be putting some serious effort to compose the photo with foreground, midground, and background. One more example, if I take the photo like this, left hand side of the photo, subject, background. Now this is added here, it is forming foreground. It is also similar to framing, but in framing, what happens, there is the concept of the subject is reaching through the frame. But here, for adding these things, we need not reach to the subject through the frame. So this is the difference. We are adding something more in the foreground. That does not mean to reach to the subject we have to reach it through additional element. No. So there is a small difference between framing and adding foreground, midground, and background. So that difference you keep in mind, and you compose your photos accordingly. Not only in case of landscape photography, you can do it for portrait photography also. Like this is the subject, these flowers are added in front of the subject, forming the foreground, and obviously the background is there. Some more example, we'll just keep it through. This is the subject, this is the background. These flowers which are in front of the subject is forming the foreground. It gives us nice visual experience if you compose it properly. See, this is the subject, this is the background, and this is the foreground. How pleasing this photo is looking, because we are having the depth of fore, mid, and background. So similar way, you compose all your photos. It gives nice visual experience for you. Subject, background, foreground. It's all great looking images that we are seeing today. See how pleasing it is. This is the subject, this is the nice background, and all these things are added in the foreground intentionally to make the composition look much more interesting. Right? Subject, foreground, and background. Please do remember that whatever things you are adding in the foreground should not be of type disturbing. There should not be anything which is disturbing the subject, but which is adding values to the photo or the frame that you are composing. So this was all about foreground, midground, and background, with which you can add depth to your photo. As usual, we will have a small assignment on it. We just have to post a photo to depict use of foreground, midground, and background to create depth in a particular photo. So that was the first topic that we had. We'll just move to the second topic, which is nothing but perspective. So perspective is nothing but the angle with which we are taking or composing a particular photo. So normally how we take a photo, we stand upright, we take our mobile or camera, let us say at our chest level, and we just click it. So since the day we have started photography till today, we do the same thing. We just take out our camera, hold it near our chest level, we compose it. So with that type of angle or with that type of perspective, we normally get a photo like this. So we'll think that this lamppost is our subject. So this type of photo, we are very much familiar, we are habituated. It gives us normal viewing angle. It is normally boring. what I can do, we can try to take photo in a different angle, in a very unusual angle. Now, this same photo, which is a photo of a simple lamppost, is taken standing right under the lamppost and putting my camera or my mobile over my head, and I have taken this photo. Now, good or bad, it is something else, but at least the photo looks different and looks much more better than this. So this is the normal viewing angle, the photo we have taken. Now we are taking the photo by putting our mobile or camera over our head, and we are getting a photo which looks something different. So this is the objective of perspective. Perspective is nothing but taking photo from very unusual angle to look the subject different, to look the subject interesting. We'll see some more example. Let us say again, these things are shoot with normal mobile phones only. So this is the normal viewing angle. We are habituated with this type of photo, but this photo is taken by putting the mobile right on top of this particular tree, we can call it. So it looks different now. So this is the normal viewing angle, and this is something different we are doing. So now this photo or this subject, it look interesting. So this is the objective of perspective. You take photo from a very unusual angle that you were not doing earlier. Same thing you do, like at your home, you click one photo. Now the same subject, you take a photo, but from a different angle, from a very unusual angle, you see that the subject look much more interesting, which is the objective of perspective, which is the objective of today's class. Imagine this particular photo, it's a neem tree, in a branch of a neem tree. You just imagine where the camera is placed or where the mobile is placed. The mobile is placed on the road. So the mobile was placed on the road facing toward the sky. Now the simple branch of a neem tree, it looks different. It looks much more interesting. Background is even great, not disturbing. So all those benefits also we get. So these things are nothing but use of perspective in a creative way, which you can do while composing your photo. This is again the normal viewing angle that we get for this capturing this particular structure. But this particular structure, when it's captured like this, like standing right under this structure, we get a photo like this, which is much more interesting. Background is undisturbed, and it is also visually pleasing than this. So now onwards, you just get rid of the habit of taking photo from that your usual chest height or your usual angle with which you are taking a photo, and try to take the photo of the same subject with a very unusual angle. You get much more better result. See how this photo looks different and interesting. The photo is taken from a very low angle, right? So when we are discussing about perspective, basically we'll be discussing about two major perspectives that we discuss in general. Those are first one is called low angle perspective. Second is the high angle perspective. What is low angle perspective mean? The photo is taken from a very low angle. Like for this particular situation, the cameraman might have lied on the road, right? And he has placed the camera there and he has taken a photo like this. So it is called as low angle perspective. Remember this term, high angle perspective and low angle perspective. So from which angle you are taking the photo or where you are placing a camera, it is defining your perspective. You are placing your camera at low level, at low height, so it's low angle perspective. You are putting your camera at high position or at higher level, so it's high angle perspective. This is an example of low angle perspective. Camera is placed at very low position. Same thing also, this is an assignment submitted by one of the student in that earlier batch. So this particular, while shooting this particular building, the camera is placed in a very low angle position. So we get a different view of the building. Whereas if the same photo of the building is taken maybe 15 feet away from the building, then we get the normal view of the building, which is very boring because we are familiar. This is another example where the camera is placed at a very low angle. So example of a lower angle perspective. Same thing, example of low angle perspective. This is reverse. So this is nothing but the guitar that we see, but now the camera is placed at a very unusual angle, maybe right on the top of that guitar, of the string is there. So here the camera was placed. Now the guitar looks interesting. So this is the difference it makes to your photo. It adds much more value to the subject or to the frame that you are composing, to the photo that you are taking. When you take the photo from unusual angle, from very low, from very high, or maybe there might be some other perspective also which you can add to compose your photo. So this is also same photo is taken. You might have understood the camera is placed right over the head of this child. So we get a different looking photo, but same photo if you take from the head level of the kid, then we normally get boring photos that we usually get. In the background also there will be many things which will be disturbing. So you try to do this, put some conscious effort to compose your photo from a very unusual or different angle. See how the simple photo, it looks completely different because the photo is taken from a completely different angle. So this is what we call as perspective. Remember, there are two different perspectives that normally we discuss: low angle and high angle. Low angle means you are going to place the camera at a very lower position, so it is called as low angle. Whereas in this case, you have put your camera to a very high angle, to a very higher position. So now onwards, how you are going to take a photo? If you want to make your subject look different, look in a completely strange way that other photographer they are not able to produce, you be first, you learn to do something different like this. This is a very common sort of scenario or situation where the photographers, professional photographers, they will be doing, they will not think about their costly jeans or this jacket or about this. They are more keen on making a subject look something different. So let us, your cloth, let us, let them be dirtier, but your photo, let them be a richer one. See how much dedication these photographers are having. You also be like them. Once you be like them, your photos will be the photo that professional photographers are taking. So this is not an easy job. Put some effort, all these things, they have done this hard work. Now it is your turn to do this of what hard work, which will improve your photos or your photography to the next higher level, right? See, this sort of photos we see on Facebook, on different professional uh, websites where photographers are taking excellent photos in marriage, but we don't see the background work and the hard work that these photographers are doing, right? So enjoy this humorous photo, but do not forget to be like them. Once you be like them, then only you will be able to create a photo which no one else is taking and you can produce it, right? So this is one more assignment that we have to do. We just have to post a photo which will depict low angle perspective and one more photo to depict a high angle perspective. So one photo for using of foreground, midground, background, one photo for low angle perspective, and one more photo for high angle perspective. Apart from that, remember one more thing, this high angle and low angle photo, two places you can use it in a very creative way. Let us say you are having a subject, and if you want to make the subject look weaker, right? If you want to make the subject smaller, weaker, you should use the photo or you should compose the photo from high angle. See, in this case, all these subjects, they look weaker, smaller, right? So in that case, what we have to do, we have to compose the photo from high angle. Whereas if you want to make your subject look stronger, taller, then you compose the photo from low angle or you use low angle perspective. these things are applicable, or you might have noticed in films or cinemas. If you normally see when models will be flexing their body muscles, or let us say Salman Khan is posing, so all those photos are basically taken from a very low angle. Why? To make the subject look stronger, to make those muscles look stronger, right? So all those things you can apply. If you want to make the subject look stronger, take a photo from a low angle. If you want to make the subject look thinner, weaker, then you take the photo from a very high position. See, this particular photo, the subject, it looks smaller, weaker. So what you are going to use? Higher, right? So let us say some person has come to you who is fat or who is bulky, and his or her request is that you have to take a photo where he or she will be looking slimmer, thinner. Then what you can try? You can try to take the photo from higher angle. Whereas a person has come to you who is thinner or weaker, and he or she expect you to take a photo where he or she will be looking stronger. What you are going to do? You are just going to take the photo from low angle to make the subject look stronger. So that was from my side. If you are having anything to ask, I will be taking question from you. You can raise your hand, or else I will be ending this session for today, and the assignment that I will be posting in the group. Anyone? Fine then. This was from my side. Good night.